Today we're going to learn about monoprinting with markers and laminated photos. So first thing, a monoprint, mono means one, and print, a print is a mark left on a surface. So if you think of like a paw print, a dog might step in some paint and then they'd leave some paw prints on your carpet. That is a print. Your fingerprint is a print. But in art, prints can be made into lots of beautiful images and pictures. So a monoprint is when an artist creates a single impression print of an image, and they use a block, a reprintable block to do that. With our technique that we're doing today, we're actually going to be using a photo that is laminated, so it has a plasticky coating on it, to create our print. So this is becoming our block today. And then the next thing we're going to need are washable markers. It's very important that you use washable markers, otherwise this won't work. So the first thing you might want to do if you're reusing prints that other people have used is grab a damp paper towel and wipe down your print first to make sure there's no leftover markings on there, because if there are, that could get onto your print. So I'm wiping it down, getting some of that old stuff off. Dry paper towel, drying it off. And then I can start the fun part, which is going to be to mark right on top of this plastic coating. Now you could do this with just a plain piece of plastic and then do whatever picture you wanted, but if you're wanting to kind of follow along with the picture, you can come in and you just start to go over with whatever colors you want. So I could come in and add the blue sea going around. I might want to come in here and add in some of this texture of the waves that I see. And you can barely see the ink of the marker on the paper. Just barely see it. I'll use the other colors that I see in there. So I'm gonna grab some green, come over here and do my tree line, maybe color it in. Now, the more detailed you are, the more intricate your print will be. Whatever you mark on your print is what's gonna show up in your picture. So if you do a really rushed job, kind of like I'm doing, it's not gonna turn out as nice as if you take your time. So let's see, up here in the sky's a little bit of a darker blue. I might come in and go around the clouds. Because I'm gonna be printing on white paper, I'm just gonna leave those areas blank. So if I'm doing this kind of a scribble scrabble in the sky, you're gonna see those lines on my paper. And I don't have to do the colors exactly as they are. I could come in here and I could change the colors up. I could make the sky a sunset sky, or I could make it look like this is happening on another planet. Maybe the sky is green or something. You can be as creative as you want to be with this. And let's see, I want to make my little sailboat. So let's see, I'm going to do the outline in brown. I'm actually going to make my boat brown. And my little things here. So you can be very detailed. Some pictures are more detailed than others. Let's see, maybe I want to bring some that orange into here. Red. I'm gonna make this whole side red though. Whatever I put in my picture is gonna end up in my print. I'm not going to do that blue because that blue's already the sky. I'm going to change that blue and purple up here into the all be blue, all be purple. Oh, and I'll do a little bit more red down here. All right. So this is a quick version. You can take as long as you want. The longer you take on this part, the more interesting your actual print will be. So I'm going to put this to the side because the next step is, in order to get this off of the plastic coating and onto my paper, I need to create a wet surface on my paper. So I have my paper that I'm going to print onto. I'm going to come over to the side where I have my water, and I'm going to grab one of these sponge brushes and just kind of dip it quickly in the water. And then I don't want this to be soaking and dripping wet because then it's going to make my paper too wet. And if my paper is too wet, my picture is going to get blurry. The more wet your paper is, the more blurry it's going to make your picture, which could be cool because you can always come back and draw on top of your picture too. So I'm squeezing a little bit of the extra water out so that this is just damp. Now I'm going to just brush over top of my whole paper, just brushing across just to get it a little bit wet so that that water will pull the ink from the plastic onto my paper. And if I feel like I need to re-dip my brush and squeeze it out a little bit more and do a second brush across, I can. So getting it evenly wet but not soaking wet. And sometimes this is practice makes perfect. The first time you do this, you might be like, no, or you might be really successful. All right, got it nice and damp, evenly damp. So what I'm gonna do now is I like to take my picture and put it down and then very gently set my paper on top and rub across really even, making sure that none of it is peeling up, and we're gonna see how this goes. If this doesn't work this time around, draw your picture again and then do a little bit of a different level of water on your paper until you've kind of figured out your process. All right, so now when I pull this up, you can see my picture. So like I said, if I had taken the time to really color in the sky would have been more colored in here. If I had taken the time to do more color in the water, you would have seen more color here. But overall, this did a pretty good job reprinting. You can see where I did a much more solid job coloring here. That reprinted really well. So you could leave it at that, or you could come back over top of it and draw in some new things. Maybe you want to draw, or maybe you want to collage in some fish down in here in the water, or other boats into the water. That part is up to you. You can make it as creative as you want, but it is always a good idea to come in and sign your print one of one because it is a mono print. The next person who uses this picture, theirs will look completely different because they will choose different colors. They will color differently than you. So the picture might be similar, but it won't be exactly the same. So yours is still a one of a kind. Have a fun time doing this.